One really important aspect of living a good life and feeling fulfilled is purpose and meaning. This morning, I spent my time doing this, creating a whole brain dump of a potential future direction to Yes And in addition to my current coaching work. This made me think of a client I'm currently working with who is asking about how to spend her time and how to know that she's spending her time in a meaningful way for all the reasons, business and also fulfillment and just general well-being. And this morning was a great example for me of a time when I had an initial plan that I totally scrapped, and I felt confident doing that because this gave me purpose. A letter from your future self to your current self, so dear past me. That's another way of finding purpose and meaning, is seeing this direction and feeling confident and clear, even if it's not crystal clear in terms of details, but at least in terms of that sense of you trust where you're going, or at least have a taste of where you're going. It gives this momentum and it gives a sense of groundedness, even when life feels really uncertain, which in the world right now, a lot of what I'm hearing and feeling is uncertainty and heartache and not knowing where this all fits in. And there's something to be said for taking a step back from everything that's going on, be it in your business, be it in world events, and taking time to just feel what your purpose and meaning and direction is and feels like, and feels how it feels most true for you. So yesterday I talked about how important it is for us to find meaning and purpose. This is one of the aspects that differentiates a good life, a life where we feel fulfilled and happy, from a life where we're seeking that fulfillment and happiness. However, where this can sometimes get tricky or lead us down a slippery slope is when we look for that purpose and direction and meaning in something that isn't quite true. Sometimes we can get into these spirals unintentionally of looking through either Instagram or Facebook or online, YouTube, and we see these lives and we idealize them, or we see happiness, and then our minds automatically connect that equates to happiness, or that equates to purpose and meaning. And then we start following that or trying to mirror whatever we're seeing online without having the important and crucial step of circling back through ourselves. So the point of today's post and the point of this gut check, are you comparing your life to a life that you don't even want, is to not say you can never look at someone else for inspiration. It's not to say that Instagram and Facebook are bad and we must delete them forever. Though maybe, I don't know. But rather it's really to bring it back to that authentic lens, the authentic filter that I talk about so much in my group coaching program. That's what the whole program is about. And also on all of my posts and all of my YouTube videos. So are you giving yourself that space? This is oftentimes where I hear the advice to wake up and the first thing you do in the morning is to meditate or to journal. And the reason for this is because we start with our own feelings, our own emotions, our own desires, our own sense of purpose, rather than looking to something else, be it online or in the world around us, and assuming that that is purpose or that is happiness just because it is that way for someone else. So there's the important differentiator. Is it that way for you as well? Do you also feel excited and ignited and impassioned by this thing that you are taking inspiration from? Or are you just stapling yourself onto this depiction of purpose and happiness that may not even be purpose and happiness for that person, or maybe it is, but regardless, is it true for you? That's the check to do today. That's the reminder to give yourself today of what are you comparing yourself to, and where are you finding that meaning, purpose, fulfillment, and happiness for yourself, rather than continually basing it on what we're seeing outside of ourselves. Having everything you want can look like many things. Having the family, buying the home, getting the second home, working your way up to the career position you have always dreamed your entire life. And sometimes when this happens, we look around and say, I've checked all the boxes, I've done all the things, I've achieved all of life's milestones. So why am I still unfulfilled? One answer to this is just to normalize that as humans, we are wired to evolve and continue growing. We are wired to have desires and goals, even when we've achieved a million other goals before this point. Did you achieve your goals or someone else's? Do you have everything that you want Or do you have everything that someone else or society told you you should want? Here's where the truth bombs come in, and you can start to ask yourself, what do I want? What am I craving or desiring for now and the future? And how can I start working toward that, which will bring you to a more fulfilled and genuinely happy place for your life? I'm very excited to report that today my mindset was on point, and I can't say that is how the last week has been, and that's okay. It happens to everyone, and some tricks that worked for me that might work for you include what I included in today's post. So read those 3 quick coaching tips, and also to prioritize how you start your day, which feels cliche at this point to say. Everyone talks about it, but really that's what I committed to today, and it was such a great reminder that this effort doesn't have to be so great. I don't have to totally transform my entire day. It really was just focusing the first even 30 minutes of my day to put my mindset first, and that had a positive ripple effect throughout my entire day. So try that yourself, maybe tomorrow. It's a brand new day. And also those 3 coaching tips I included in today's post. And Otto also wants to say hi. While also entertaining, yesterday's post talked about vulnerability, and I even shared something vulnerable in the caption and explained that during our Friday group calls and Wednesday night group calls in my group coaching program, this is an essential piece to making these calls as impactful as they are for my clients. We don't just talk about the surface stuff, and we don't just talk about the practical implications of how to apply positive psychology and tools and techniques, although that's also what we're doing. We're also getting under the layers that we typically don't arrive at in other situations, in other circumstances, simply because there isn't that safe, truly supportive space to do so in so many instances in our life. Think of like family events where we might feel like we have to put on a front or give a specific update in order to comfort others, or our workplaces where certain topics may be off limits. And what we know from the research is how essential it is to find spaces where we can be truly vulnerable. Coming back to the word authenticity, where we can be truly ourselves. Our well-being shoots through the roof, and also our ability to understand what we want, what is truly hindering our ability to attain our wants, and then to pursue them requires the vulnerability, requires the safety, requires the comfort that I create and that we create as a community inside the Yes and Experience. How I riffed on that in today's post is this outdated belief that there are some emotions that are good and there are some emotions that are bad. My clients hear me say a million times, this isn't good, bad, right, or wrong. Because when we strip away the judgment, it allows us to just be with the experience that we're experiencing, to look at it, to face it, to understand it, to learn from it, to grow through it, rather than avoid and suppress.